A new home with a new hope for premier hunting grounds.
Walk so far.
Sporting Classics Magazine's Ron Spomer just purchased a remote ranch in Idaho, and now it's opening day for mule deer season on this property.
I've been on this place for 6 weeks now and I've not seen a male deer of any kind.
Find out if Ron bought a mule deer honey hole or just a money pit on this Sporting Classics.
Some adventures are found at the crossroads of epic and unforgettable, and they're best enjoyed with a close friend, a companion who cherishes the sporting life just as much as you do. It's someone who knows the magic contained in the simple phrase, opening day, and who understands that the words hunter and conservationist are one and the same, for we've been giving back for generations. And sharing the outdoors with someone who celebrates the history, the art, and the romance of this way of life makes for a friendship to last the ages. One where the sound of a snickering horse, the crackling of a mountain campfire, the whiff of gunpowder will transport you to that same stirring part of the soul. Welcome to Sporting Classics. That old trusted friend who shares your love of adventure and reminds you of the greatest days of your life.
Doe and the fawn crossing over. 3 of them now. The thing about mule deer is they can get back in a little pocket behind a sagebrush and you think there's nothing out there. They're lying down behind that gray sage and they are hard to spot. If they're up and moving, it's a lot easier, obviously. 2 big does, 3 big does. Those aren't little fawns. Those are big does. Beautiful light right now. Shine on those deer and make them stand out. We are in southern Idaho in one of the many isolated mountain ranges that are prime habitat for elk, moose, and mule deer. And my wife and I came onto this property. We were able to trade some old family farm ground for it, so now we find ourselves in beautiful foothills mountains of Idaho with mule deer. Well, it's been a whole year since I shot the 270, so we had better get tuned in. I think we're pretty good, Daisy. Nice. Think we can go deer hunting.
This land is a dream fulfilled. Dancing Springs Ranch, the new forever home for Ron and Betsy Spomer. One day Ron will know this turf like the back of his hand, but that day is not today. For now, this brand new property is a blank canvas with spectacular potential. It's opening day of mule deer season and Ron is out trying to pattern the deer in this area to become more familiar with his new stomping ground.
And folks have been hunting deer here for 150, 200 years. The mountain men went through here back in the 1830s. And, I mean, there's a lot of history on this place, and I get to discover it, so this is going to be exciting.
Ron Spomer grew up a self-taught hunter in a small town in South Dakota. Ron's passion for the outdoors became his profession, and he has written for over 100 magazine titles, authored several hunting books, and recently won the Outdoor Writer of the Year award. Ron is an expert on ballistics and cartridge performance and currently serves as the rifle editor for Sporting Classics magazine. And he has an uncanny ability to mimic animals without a call, the Dr. Doolittle of the hunting world.
Now we've got the ram and the ewe standing there, and I kept, and the doe started to leave, and I did another bleat like that. She stopped. The ram still hadn't left, and he looked right back at me, took the shot.
Oh, yes.
He was way over his ear tips.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one I've ever seen.
Yeah?
And big is a relative term here. Mule deer love to cross saddles, low spots between hills. And there's a pretty good looking one at the backside of the property, and I thought that might be the place.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Immediately, there are 6 does crossing it. And right behind him come 3 more. And then 3 more.
Walk so far.
I mean, this was the superhighway of mule deer migration, going right through that saddle.
The girls are here. So now I'm sitting here thinking, damn, I should have been here a little bit earlier because I'll bet you the bucks already went through. So now I've got to go find these deer. I mean, they're getting stirred up and they're finding little hidey holes, so I'm going to ease along and glass into spots where they might be bedded. I also have to do a little ranch work. I noticed the cattle knocked the fence down, so a little combination of scouting while we're doing some ranch work and hunting deer at the same time. Yeah, we got a problem downstream here. You know, these fences are driving me nuts. I don't really need a fence because I've got elk and deer and moose every once in a while. I've got wildlife. I don't fence them in, but the neighbors have cattle, and I have got to fence those out, or they're going to be here eating all my wildlife habitat. They had a major war going on here. Good Lord. Having to turn off the electricity because I forgot and grabbed it. Yeah, silly stuff like that, but it's a lot of work, and it cuts in on my hunting time. I am not going to hunt much this year because I've got to manage this place. What the hey? Good Lord.
Winchester Model 70, the rifleman's rifle.
Sporting Classics is powered by Ram Trucks, the Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year. Winchester, the American legend. Winchester Repeating Arms. Walther Powered Performance. Pulsar Image Quality. Negrini Cases, ultra light, ultra strong. The pinnacle of Italian design and technology. And by Safari Club International. Join SCI today for a chance to win a waterfowl hunt at the North Platte Outpost. Sporting Classics Magazine's Ron Spomer and his wife Betsy have just purchased 360 acres of game-rich land far off the grid in Idaho. As a lifelong hunter and award-winning outdoor writer, no one ever confused Ron for a city boy. But this new property is remote, even for Ron. And maintaining a self-sufficient lifestyle this far off the grid, well, can be a full-time job.
One thing I learned with these ATVs in ranch country is they are really workhorses. Man, I don't know how I could even manage this place because we're out fixing fence, the cattle break them down, the fence goes down with the weather, a tree falls on it. So I've got the ATV, I use it a lot, and I thought I need better storage space, so I thought I'm gonna build a trunk. I just got some plywood and I built a box that I call my firewood box. Go. Well, life on the farm is kind of laid back. Ain't nothing an old carpenter like me can't hack, except for the rhythm in that song.
Ron and Betsy Spomer chose Idaho for its open space, rural way of life, and the wildlife. Idaho is known as the Gem State, and if you ask me why, I'll say it's because of the treasure trove of hunting opportunities: deer, elk, moose, pronghorn, lion, and bear. If it's on your North American wish list, you could probably find it here in Idaho. It is also home to the only true European-style driven shooting you can find anywhere on our continent, at the one-of-a-kind Blixton Company.
Here we have one. There we go. See if they make it down the line there. Ooh. Center punch.
Nice shot.
Incoming. What a hoot, huh? What a hoot. We had bird after bird after bird. We had right to left. We had incoming. Whew. Fun. Fun, fun, fun.
So the mule deer season here opens in mid-October, which is not traditional in most mule deer hunting areas because it's not the rut. It's not even getting really that close to the rut. So the bucks I have found at this month, they are in their summer habits more or less. So the bucks are often in groups yet. They're not chasing the does. They do have hard antlers, but they're pretty much just feeding, drinking, lying low, building up that fat reserve and strength for the rut to come in mid-November. So it's a little bit difficult sometimes to find them.
There goes that last doe. Up and over the top. They're all taking the same route. Well, things are changing, and I hope they're changing the way I want them to change. This afternoon, around 1 o'clock, for the first time, I've seen deer running, crossing the hills. 1, 2, 3. That tells me somebody's been stirring those deer up. Anything could happen, so I want to just cover country and poke into all these little draws, but they're moving at least.
Ron Spomer is a modern-day naturalist, a throwback hunter in the grand tradition of Aldo Leopold and Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes, dropped him. Golly, that's a good hinge. Yeah, he's perfect.
He's a spot and stalk, free-range purist, and a natural teacher. I first met Ron years ago working as a magazine editor. I always admired Ron's expertise and quality work, both as a writer and as a photographer. Years later, I joined forces with Ron once again as a television producer. He's as authentic as it gets, and is respected among his peers in the outdoor industry. In addition to being a seasoned pro, Ron and Betsy are delightful to be around and always make any hunting trip fun and enjoyable for all.
So my dear wife, who grew up in a city, is not a country gal, but she agreed to this little experiment, and now she's loving it. I mean, she just absolutely can't believe how beautiful it is out here and how quiet, and the pace of life has slowed down and she loves it.
Previous owners told me that they had a mice problem until they got a cat, so I told Ron I want cats.
Sure enough, she shows up, not with a cat, but with two of them. Why did you get two? One's bad enough.
But I don't still want one cat, I want him to have a pal.
Oh,
Look at
God.
him. So I have Sweet Pea and Saddle.
You're gonna eat your mice, huh?
Yeah.
I could handle mice, I've got a shotgun.
Oh, God, yes.
But they are kind of cute.
Hello, cutie pie. Hi, kitty kitty.
The Winchester XPR. Experience performance.
I fell in love with Sporting Classics magazine from the first time I opened it because it's just so different. I thought it was a magazine created just for me. When it arrives, it's just like Christmas morning as a child. There's just magic to the surprises you'll find inside the cover. I take it with me everywhere, and I mean everywhere.
It's day 3 of mule deer season in Idaho. And so far, Sporting Classics magazine writer Ron Spomer has spent as much time doing chores on his new ranch as he has been hunting bucks. But Ron is starting to pattern the deer in the area. His property is next to public land, and the recent hunting activity, well, it's pushing deer Ron's way.
Well, based on what I have seen on all of our hunting, I'm thinking that saddle back there, that crossing, where all the does went through and the bucks supposedly go through, probably is the spot. We still have not seen a buck. I've been on this place for 6 weeks now and I've not seen a male deer of any kind. But let's just go with the intelligence from the neighbor and watch that saddle again. Well, it seemed to work. We got 3 or 4 of them going down the fence line, we got some crossing here and there, and finally, here comes a buck.
The buck. My goodness.
Oh, a monster. It's one of the smallest spike mule deer I have ever seen. But he is a male mule deer, and that's what my tag says I need to shoot. Now he's still on the neighbor's side of the fence, and he's looking at me.
These deer are the sharpest-eyed, most cautious deer I've ever hunted. They're 300 yards away. You don't have a chance out here. Barely move. I've never seen deer this alert. What goes on around this neighborhood? It's a mystery. Now, that's what happens when you're checking out a new place. You've got to learn the ropes.
When the Spomers bought this property, they were looking for a slower pace of life. What Ron didn't expect was slow hunting. But the time spent on their new property has been a labor of love as they become stewards of their very own piece of God's country.
Everything's beautiful. The trees, the wife, the dog. I'm the only fly in the ointment here.
That's right, you are a fly in the ointment.
What I need on this place is a big mule deer buck.
A big one.
Missing.
I'd even take a small one.
I think we might just shoot a doe for meat.
I don't think we have a
Seen
tag for
24 of those. They taste the best this time of year. That's the thing. You know, you want to shoot an old buck during the rut, he's not going to taste the best. That one the last couple of years I got in Washington State, the thing was delicious.
Well, the last year the one I got was really good.
That's right, you got that one up by Sandcliff.
Last season, while Ron and Betsy were house hunting for rural land in Idaho, they were also just plain hunting. Ron had a whitetail tag in his pocket, and Betsy had a mule deer tag, so cue the muleys.
Okay, there he's turning. He's turning broadside. There's your shot.
Gonna fill your freezer for the kids.
And some kids and grandkids.
Now we can just get the kids to come and drag them out for us.
Despite yielding a nice buck, Ron and Betsy decided to purchase a different piece of property. This season, they were hoping to break in their new ranch with a quality trophy. But the time spent getting to know this land is reward enough.
It was really something different for a deer hunt for me because it wasn't about the deer hunting at that point. It was about us and our relationship with the land. Until you realize that you are a creature of nature, the same as the deer you hunt. And it just makes that appreciation so much greater, for me anyway. And I think Betsy feels the same way. Let's go, puppy dog. Go get him, girl. Go back and get the rifle and find that buck.
It's the smell of a fire in hunting camp. It's the sound of a river after a successful hunt. It's the sight of a sunrise and a boy and a dog in a duck blind. And this is the sight and sound of someone on Capitol Hill fighting to protect all of it. Someone from SCI. SCI, first for hunters.
Introducing the Hawk series of box blinds. Insulated steel panels provide unmatched thermal, scent, and noise control and are backed by a limited lifetime warranty, so your investment will last in the field for years to come. All new box blinds by Hawk.
Sporting Classics has gone digital. Now you can experience the heritage, the romance, and the art of hunting and fishing every day for free with Sporting Classics Daily. And enjoy stunning world-renowned photography by following us on Instagram at Sporting Classics TV. Sporting Classics is powered by Ram Trucks, the Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year, Winchester, the American legend, Winchester Repeating Arms, Walther Powered Performance, Sightmark, make your mark, Negrini Cases, ultralight, ultra strong, the pinnacle of Italian design and technology, and by John Burrell's High Adventure Company, operators of the finest sporting lodges worldwide.
By the fourth morning, if you haven't seen a buck, but one little spike, you're starting to get a little discouraged and wondering if it's ever going to happen.
So I'm on a mission now, but I'm sticking with that saddle because that's the only place we've seen a male deer. And guess what? It happened. I look over and here are 4 does and fawns coming down through the hillside sagebrush. And above them is another deer, and I figured it's another old doe. Finally ease my binocular up and about fall over. Because it is a buck, and it is a pretty good buck. He's coming down the hill, he's doing everything right, and all of a sudden, he leaps across the fence, and I realize, I can shoot him, he's on my property. This is crazy. I'm getting so excited, it's like my first deer hunt ever. I get my sights on that buck, and I am just about to pull the trigger when he starts running off with the does. And my brain is going, the first buck you've ever seen on your ranch, and you're gonna blow it, you're not gonna get him, he's going to run off. And so I'm thinking, what can I do, what can I do? And you can whistle sometimes to stop him, but I've had great luck with whitetails barking. I barked, and instead of stopping like a whitetail, he took off running like a mule deer. This is not working. So I'm really getting frustrated now, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna blow it. This is the only buck I've seen. It's 4 days of hunting. I've got to get him. And then he stopped. He stopped, and what did I do? I rushed my shot. What the? It hit. Go down, go down, go down. And I could tell by the way he was running that he was hit, but he wasn't going down. He wasn't getting that wobble factor that they get when they start to lose blood pressure. So I thought, I don't think I got into the chest cavity in those bushes. And he got up into a thicket on the hillside, a little pocket that always looks to me like a great place for a mule deer buck. In it he goes, and down he goes. He betted he didn't fall down. You can see his antlers sticking out. I can see his head up, looking around. That's always a bad sign. That is not a sick deer. I've got to get another shot into him. Wait a minute, 400 yards across, wind's blowing. That's a tough shot. He's not going anywhere. I'm gonna have to sneak up and finish him off. Very slowly, very cautiously. I screwed up once today, I don't need to do it again. So I'm going slowly, looking, got this bushes spotted, ease on up, find him bedded there right where I'd left him. Perfect. Now all I have to do is get in position for the shot. So I slowly get myself into position with my sticks up. Yeah. Whew. He's down. Wow. But that worked out quite well. So now we need to go down and see our first buck from Dancing Springs Ranch. This is the first buck I've ever seen on this ranch. He's no monster, but he's pretty darn nice. There he is. Oh my gosh, look at the body. I'll tell you, these mule deer's bodies impress me every time I come up on one. I've seen many, I've shot many, and I just never get over how big they are. The bodies are just so bulky. That's a beautiful animal. First cousin of the whitetail. You know, it's an adaptable, remarkable deer in the West. If you've got dry country and you want deer in it and there's no agriculture, not enough water, and whitetail can't make it, mule deer fills in. And am I glad they do. It just all kind of came together emotionally and overwhelmed me. It was just, I couldn't believe it. I shot a big mule deer buck on property that I am now managing. How cool is that? It's just, and I called I don't usually call people on the phone when I'm hunting, but I had to call Betsy and say, hey honey, get the freezer ready, we got winter meat. Oh, she was so excited, she was practically crying. I can't manage for whitetails out here, but I can sure manage for mule deer, huh?
Oh, mule deer, pheasants, sharptails, elk, moose, you name it.
Yeah.
Grandkids.
Manage the property for grandkids. What do we feed them? We feed them mule deer. Here, kids, eat this.
Organic.
Oh, grass-fed, all organic. Dancing Springs Ranch meat. Thankful, grateful for what we have. I mean, how lucky can any two people be? And that's a great thing about being an American. You know, we're living in this country of freedom where you can own property and manage it your way. Wood box for wood. We get to make up our own little decisions. And I don't know, this is just a wonderful life.